Hey, what's going on, Z Nation? Zaid here, ZSPN. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers as it concerns their Game 3 victory against the Houston Rockets in the semifinals. I just want to give you guys my thoughts and my opinions about the aggressiveness and the offensive attack that the Lakers have done, and defensively as well throughout the game as it concerns their victory against the Houston Rockets tonight. So I just want to give you guys my thoughts and my opinions about the Los Angeles Lakers and the players, and what this win will do for the Lakers moving forward when it comes down to them finishing off the semifinals. So I just want to give you guys my thoughts and my opinions about it. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So, guys, the Lakers have got a win over the Houston Rockets. They are now 2-1 into the series of the semifinals. And what better way for the Lakers to really end a fourth quarter than getting a huge lead with the help of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And speaking of those two guys, I mean, they have today made a lot of historic moments in NBA, with Anthony Davis getting first team all defensive team. So he hasn't got that probably since 2018. So congratulations to Anthony Davis by getting that particular award and or that honor. And it's just throughout the game tonight, he was all over the place. I believe he all had like 26 points out there tonight for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I think he had maybe 12 or 14 rebounds. Like always, I'll put the correct stats for you guys to check them out, and as every single one of my videos when it comes down to every single game for the Los Angeles Lakers. So he had a double-double out there tonight. So great job out there for Anthony Davis. But when it comes down to of it all, LeBron James, he also made history tonight. He had 36 points out there tonight. And, he was just that main dominance in tonight's game. He was the player of the game when it comes down to his performance in tonight's game against the Houston Rockets. With 36 points, and he just made history in the playoffs by having the most wins of all time in playoffs. So a great accomplishment for LeBron James when he makes that sort of historic moment in playoff history. So great job out there for LeBron James, and I just hope that they keep this mentality moving forward when it comes down to the Lakers continuing to win this series against the Houston Rockets. So it's just going to be very interesting to watch how this Lakers team will progress throughout this semifinals, because we saw some key moments in certain games in particularly this one, that the Houston Rockets were trying their best to gain a lead over the Lakers, and they're just trying to find ways, but their defense was really not that aggressive when it came down to facing the Lakers. I mean, the Lakers had a much bigger upper hand when it comes down to their defensive ability, and we saw that in tonight's game, not just their offensive attack, but defensively as well. So the Lakers had a much better upper hand, and it all really has to do with their third option. No, it's not Kyle Kuzma. No, it's not Danny Green. It is Rajon Rondo. Hashtag playoff Rondo. He had 20 points out there tonight, and he also made history tonight in his career by being ranked 12th on the all-time assist list. So he made history by making, being a playmaker that he is, the floor general that he is, making plays out there, and he had 20 points, or it was somewhere around 20 to 22 points out there tonight. So, he came to play like we witnessed in the last game against the Houston Rockets. So in game 2, he was on his A game, and we witnessed that also in tonight's game. I mean, playoff Rondo is officially here, guys. I mean, we sort of witnessed that in game 2, but we can honestly say this is officially playoff Rondo. I mean, he really showed up for the Los Angeles Lakers when it comes down to coming off the bench, and he did so in great fashion, and he just delivered for the Los Angeles Lakers coming off the bench, passing into LeBron, Anthony Davis, plethora of players, and including to Kyle Kuzma, especially in the fourth quarter, because his ability, his aggressiveness in the fourth quarter for Kyle Kuzma was also well known out there tonight. He had 14 points, so with him having Rajon Rondo, being that second unit, once LeBron and Anthony Davis, one of those two, are sitting out, you have Rajon Rondo and Kyle Kuzma. The combination of those guys really helps the Lakers get a huge boost when it comes to getting like a 4 or 6 point lead. I mean, it was a great moment for the Lakers when it comes down to bench wise. So, great job out there for Rajon Rondo and also Kyle Kuzma for stepping up their role off the bench. And, guys, overall, I really have to say I am very impressed when it comes down to the Lakers' offensive attack. We witnessed that in the first quarter, going back and forth with the Houston Rockets. I mean, the offensive attack from both teams, it was just back and forth. It was very aggressive by the Los Angeles Lakers by just playing very good offense out there. They already have the defense already locked in, so with the combination of Alex Caruso and Rajon Rondo, LeBron, Anthony Davis, the rest of the Lakers squad who played aggressively defense is already locked in. That's my number one priority when it comes down to the Lakers when they play against certain teams, to have a sort of an offensive edge over the Los Angeles Lakers. The number one thing that I want from the Lakers to do is to play that aggressive defense that they are been well known for throughout this season so far, and especially in the playoffs. So they're just continuing to show that, and I'm just very impressed by the Los Angeles Lakers. And there's a lot to really talk about when it comes to the Lakers, who they'll be facing in the Western Conference, and if they end up surviving into the semifinals, because the Houston Rockets, I mean, they're really giving the Lakers a run for their money. I mean, they are playing very good when it comes to shooting wise. We already know this by now, that the Houston Rockets are a much better shooting team than the Los Angeles Lakers. But, for the past, almost 2 games now that we've been witnessing the Lakers going on a huge run when it comes to winning, there's been some key moments that, their shots are going in. We were been witnessing that, and hopefully they just have that opportunity to keep that momentum alive when it comes down to making their shots go in. And the Houston Rockets, they really have a bunch of players that have a really good shooting team. James Harden, Eric Gordon, Covington. I mean, we all know Covington. I mean, the guy was at one point a huge interest for the Los Angeles Lakers to make a trade of, but unfortunately it just never really went down because the Houston Rockets beat the Lakers to the punch when it came down to that trade deadline. So, but it is what it is. We got a huge supporting cast for the Los Angeles Lakers. Are doing a good job on their end when it comes down to defensively and trying to make their shots go in, from players like Danny Green, KCP, and it's just a plethora of other players that are really showing that they can be that they can show some shooting ability, from Rajon Rondo, from Alex Caruso, you know, sorry. I just lost my train of thought. Kyle Kuzma and then LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Sorry about that. I just were thinking about some players who are good shooters on our team. So just a plethora of other players that have been playing very well when it comes to shooting wise. So guys, that's what I really have to say when it comes down to the Lakers' performance in tonight's game. I mean, they overall stepped up. I mean, they wanted to get this win. They wanted to have a 2-1 series ahead of their opponents, and they got that against the Houston Rockets in Game 3. There's a Thursday's game of Game 4 in the semifinals against the Houston Rockets. Still remains if they will keep this momentum alive moving forward. But all signs are completely showing that the Lakers, if they just continue to play this type of momentum type of game that we've been witnessing in Game 2 and now in tonight's game, if they continue that moving forward, we could potentially see the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. And just a quick shout out to the Miami Heats for beating the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference in the Milwaukee Bucks. They are now advancing into the Eastern Conference Finals. So it could be either the Celtics or the Raptors, but it looks pretty likely it's going to be the Celtics going into the Eastern Conference Finals. So we could potentially see the Heat versus the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So congratulations to the Miami Heat. I mean, they really deserved it. They stepped up their game when it came down to facing the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I think it just all has to do with just how the Bucks did not produce in the first, second, third game of the beginning of the semifinals. So they just did not show up whatsoever. So great job out there for the Miami Heat. Hopefully we could potentially see the Celtics or the Miami Heats in the finals. So it could be either of those two teams. But that's all I really have to say, guys. So please comment down below, like, subscribe to the channel, share my videos all over Facebook, Twitter, all that good social media stuff. Please give me your thoughts about the Los Angeles Lakers win over the Houston Rockets in Game 3 of the semifinals. Where do you think the Lakers should go from now when it comes down to the rest of the games moving forward into the semifinals? Should they continue this run that they're on with the offensive attack at first, but also at the same time playing aggressive defense? Or should they, tweak some things? I mean, there's a lot of things that the Lakers could improve on when it comes to moving forward into the Game 4 of the semifinals against the Houston Rockets. But, if they just keep this momentum alive and this mentality that they're on, it will be a much greater moment for the Lakers to really take this series and just end up possibly just going 4-1 into the semifinals. So that's something that we're hoping for. But, the Houston Rockets are a tough team themselves, and they have opportunities to, like I said, give the Lakers a run for their money. And hopefully the Lakers will not be intimidated by the Houston Rockets, and hopefully they will just continue this run that they have and having that mentality, just cruising by the Houston Rockets in the semifinals. So guys, please comment down below, like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like all my social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, for this channel. I'll leave the links into the description of this video so you guys can follow me on all my social media sites. And of course, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Go Lakers. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe out there.